What if there was a house so terrifying that every person who entered it vanished without a trace? No bodies, no explanations, no survivors, just silence. For decades, locals whispered about it, police investigated it, and thrill seekers challenged its dark reputation. But one by one, strange disappearances continued to fuel a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Tonight, we explore the chilling story of an ancient abandoned house hidden deep in the American wilderness, a place where reality seems to bend, shadows move on their own, and those who enter are never seen again. This is not a fictional tale. This story is inspired by real events, unexplained disappearances, and documented accounts from the United States that continue to haunt investigators and historians alike. The story begins in the late 1800s in a remote area of the Appalachian Mountains, far from any major town, surrounded by dense forests and rugged hills. A wealthy businessman named Edward Holloway built an enormous Victorian mansion for his family. The mansion was magnificent for its time, featuring towering staircases, intricate wood carvings, stained glass windows, and over 30 rooms. Locals admired the mansion from a distance. It quickly became known as Holloway House. However, strange rumors began almost immediately after the family moved in. Workers who helped build the mansion reported hearing footsteps in empty rooms. Some claimed they saw shadowy figures standing at windows long before the Holloway family had even occupied the house. Others refused to return after hearing unexplained voices whispering their names during construction. Most people dismissed these stories as imagination. Then, tragedy struck. Only 6 months after moving into the mansion, Edward Holloway's youngest daughter mysteriously disappeared. According to historical records, she was playing inside the house during a thunderstorm. Her mother left her alone for only a few minutes. When she returned, the child was gone. Every room was searched. The surrounding forest was searched. Neighbors and law enforcement joined the effort. No trace of the girl was ever found. Years passed, but the Holloway family never recovered from the loss. Witnesses claimed the family became increasingly isolated. Lights appeared in empty rooms during the night. Strange sounds echoed through the mansion. Servants resigned without explanation. Then, another disappearance occurred. This time, it was a housekeeper. One evening, she entered the basement to retrieve supplies and never returned. Family members searched the basement extensively. Nothing. No signs of struggle. No evidence of escape. She simply vanished. Fear spread throughout the region. By the early 1900s, Holloway House had become the subject of local legends. Residents avoided the property after sunset. Travelers refused to pass nearby roads during the night. Then came the event that transformed the mansion into one of the area's most terrifying mysteries. In 1912, the entire Holloway family disappeared. Neighbors noticed that smoke no longer rose from the chimneys. Days passed without any activity. Concerned residents entered the house. Inside, everything appeared normal. Food remained on dining tables. Beds were unmade. Personal belongings were untouched. It looked as if the family had simply stood up and walked away in the middle of their daily lives. Yet no one was ever found. Authorities launched a large-scale investigation. The mansion was searched repeatedly. Nearby forests were combed for clues. Nothing was discovered. With no evidence and no suspects, the case gradually went cold. For decades, the mansion sat abandoned. Nature slowly reclaimed the property. Trees grew around the structure. Windows shattered. Paint peeled from the walls. Yet stories continued. Hunters reported seeing lights glowing inside, despite the lack of electricity. Campers claim they heard screams coming from the property during moonless nights. Several individuals reported seeing human figures standing motionless in upper-floor windows before suddenly disappearing. Most disturbing of all were reports involving people who entered the mansion and never returned. One of the most famous incidents occurred in 1954. 4 college students decided to spend a night inside the abandoned house. According to friends, they wanted to prove the haunting stories were nonsense. They entered the property carrying cameras, flashlights, and food supplies. The following morning, only their vehicle remained. The students were gone. Search teams spent weeks examining the area. No bodies, no footprints leading away, no evidence whatsoever. The mansion's reputation grew darker. Years later, paranormal researchers became interested in the property. In the 1970s, a group of investigators received permission to study the mansion. They installed cameras and audio equipment throughout the building. Almost immediately, unusual events began occurring. Equipment malfunctioned without explanation. Battery-powered devices drained completely within minutes. Researchers reported hearing footsteps on upper floors, despite knowing nobody was present. One investigator later described hearing a child laughing somewhere inside the house. Another claimed he saw a woman in an old-fashioned dress standing at the end of a hallway. When he approached, she vanished. Despite experiencing frightening phenomena, the team remained skeptical. Then something happened that changed everything. Around 2 a.m., multiple investigators heard a loud crash from the basement. They rushed downstairs expecting to find fallen equipment. Instead, they discovered that one of their team members was missing. His flashlight remained on the floor. His camera was nearby, but the man himself had vanished. Police conducted another extensive search. The missing investigator was never found. Following this incident, local authorities restricted access to the property. Nevertheless, thrill seekers continued attempting to visit the mansion. Many returned with stories of unexplained experiences. Some described hearing whispers that seemed to come from inside the walls. Others reported sudden feelings of dread so intense that they fled immediately. A few claimed they experienced missing time, believing only minutes had passed when hours had actually disappeared. Psychologists suggested fear and expectation could explain some reports. Environmental experts proposed that toxic mold, underground gases, or unusual geological conditions might cause hallucinations. Paranormal enthusiasts argued that something far stranger was occurring. The debate continues today. In the early 2000s, a documentary crew received special permission to film the mansion. Their goal was to separate fact from fiction. The team spent several days documenting the structure. Everything proceeded normally until the final night. During an interview inside the main hallway, one camera unexpectedly captured what appeared to be a dark, human-shaped figure crossing behind the presenter. Nobody on the crew remembered seeing anyone there. Frame-by-frame analysis revealed something even stranger. The figure seemed partially transparent. Experts debated whether it was a camera artifact or an actual unexplained anomaly. However, that was not the most unsettling discovery. Audio recordings captured throughout the building revealed faint voices. Some appeared to whisper words, others sounded like distant cries. Audio specialists could not identify their source. The documentary aired nationwide and reignited public interest in the mystery. As researchers dug deeper into historical records, they uncovered additional information about the land beneath the mansion. Long before the Holloway family arrived, the area had been reportedly the site of violent conflicts between early settlers and indigenous groups. Several historians suggested unmarked graves might exist nearby. Others discovered records describing unexplained disappearances in the region dating back centuries. Could the land itself hold some dark secret? No one knows. Modern technology has provided new tools for investigation. Ground-penetrating radar surveys have been conducted around similar historic sites throughout America. Researchers continue searching for hidden chambers, forgotten tunnels, and buried evidence that might explain mysterious disappearances. Yet in cases like Holloway House, answers remain frustratingly out of reach. Today, the mansion stands as a decaying monument to one of America's most chilling mysteries. Its broken windows stare across the forest like empty eyes. Its hallways remain silent. Its secrets remain buried. Visitors who approach often describe an overwhelming sense that they are being watched. Some leave immediately. Others stay long enough to hear strange sounds echoing through the darkness. Whether these experiences result from psychological suggestion, environmental factors, criminal activity, or something beyond current understanding remains unknown. What is certain is that the legend continues. The disappearances associated with the mansion have never been fully explained. Families never received answers. Investigators never found definitive evidence, and the house continues to occupy a strange place between history and horror. Perhaps the greatest lesson hidden within stories like this is not about ghosts or supernatural forces. It is about the limits of human knowledge. Even in an age of satellites, advanced forensics, and modern science, mysteries still exist. There are places whose histories remain incomplete, questions that remain unanswered, stories that continue to challenge our understanding of reality. Maybe one day the truth behind the disappearances will finally be uncovered. Maybe forgotten documents will surface. Maybe hidden evidence will be discovered beneath the aging foundation. Or perhaps the secrets of Holloway House will remain locked within its crumbling walls forever. Until then, the abandoned mansion waits silently in the darkness, surrounded by forest and legend. And if the stories are true, anyone who dares cross its threshold should remember one chilling warning whispered by locals for more than a century. Enter if you wish, but don't expect